It's always as if we as Igbo people are constantly looking for something to blame, looking for Ekwensu, or looking for opportunities to compare Ekwensu as the devil. Like we look for every little opportunity, every post. There is something you have to analyze about it. And when you're trying to analyze it, you'll also look for a biblical interpretation. Mind you, the people that wrote the Bible are not Igbos. There is no Igbo man that wrote anything in the Bible. And this was consciously done. How is it that people don't get it? I'm teaching you all, reporting a research that I carried and the findings that I have, after talking to my elders, talking to people, reading about a particular thing. And I'm telling you, this is how Igbo people are interpreting this concept. This is how we are looking at Ekwensu Alose. But for some reason, you revert to the Bible and you're trying to analyze a post I made by using the Bible as your source. So this guy came on my Facebook post that I made about Ekwensu, courtesy of Professor Ume's son. I kind of staged a video that he made on Ekwensu, and my main focus was basically on negative energies. I'm trying to tell people that, first of all, Ekwensu is not the devil. But he now also said in that video that in as much as we don't believe in the devil in Igbo cosmology, Igbo spirituality, we also believe that there are negative forces, negative energies like Akoheli, Oraku, Ocho, and others that actually fight or mitigate against an individual. Now, I kind of stressed on that particular negative energy. But this reader came and he made this comment. He said, if Ekwensu is not the devil, what is Ekwensu? Which is a very interesting beginning, you get. Assuming he had stopped here, I would basically say, okay, check out my blog, read on what I said about Ekwensu, how the whole, kind of misrepresentation of Ekwensu came to be, because it's a grievous error that we need to correct. And when we are correcting it, it's something we also need to pass on to the next generation. But he didn't stop there. He now said, what other names do the Igbo call the devil? There is no word for it. The word does not exist. Like my first interaction as an ordinary person, listening or researching about ordinary, is first of all, I identify that apart from the error or the misrepresentation of Ekwensu, we do not have any word for the devil. And since as Igbo people, we don't have any word for the devil, how is it that you would tell me that we, us assessing or interacting with our spiritual and ancestral forces means that we are interacting with a demonic force? When the word demon, the word Ekwensu is not the devil. So how come? How is it that? Because Ekwensu means something else and it's different. We look at Ekwensu as a deity that stands as a right-hand man of a god, or right-hand energy of Okike. An energy that ensures that whatever will Okike, Chukwu, gives, that will would most certainly come to pass. And that deity doesn't care which other force is involved. That's why but both humans and both spirits actually fear this entity, Ekwensu. Now, we'll also look at Ekwensu as a deity of war. When a community wants to go to war, they need to inculcate the attitude of this deity, Ekwensu. They have to imbue themselves with these characteristics of Ekwensu, so they go to war after instituting or consulting with the Ekwensu. We also look at Ekwensu as a deity of bargain. If you want to go on a business deal with a person, you swear on the altar of Ekwensu. Now, every shrine has an aspect of Ekwensu. We look at it as a violent aspect of that deity. Just like we have Ikenga as the representation of strength, Ekwensu represents the violent aspect of this deity. So you see something like Mbukbe Ekwensu, which I was opportuned to be in its presence one day, and it acted out. I wrote an article about. I'm going to leave the link in the caption so you can check it out. A lady came to the deity. She was being maltreated in her husband's house. So before we even left to the shrine, my friend was actually telling me about the deity. He now said that as Newi people, as Umwani, Umwenem, women from Umwenem, my community, that deity ensures that no woman goes to her husband's house and they will maltreat her in that house. Like, this is her primary function. So any woman that is from Umwenem, that her husband or her husband's people are maltreating her, the deity would basically, appear or show herself in a dream as a black snake or something, warning the individual to desist from maltreating her daughter. Now, if this individual refuses, the deity will strike that person. So I'm a skeptic. Forget I'm practicing ordinary. I can question and everything. So when he said that, I was like, interesting. Oh yeah, now let's go to the dating. We call the dating Mboba or Chiogo. If you're from Nnewi, you're going to the dating. We got on a bike and we went to the date. So I just sat down and I was observing, because this is what I do. I just observe what is happening. And if I have to ask questions, I'll ask questions. So that is not even my first time of being there. But a woman now, the women were like before me. One came to dedicate her child. Maybe she got the child from the date, I don't know. But a woman was there with her child, and either the grandmother or the mother-in-law. So they went. Then another woman wanted to go. She got to where the deity was, and this lady could not say a word. She could not even say. She was just there crying. She knelt down and she was crying and crying and crying. So the people were like, Nne Ozugo, we've heard you. Just use kola, try and say something. She muttered some words. The man now said, okay, take another kola, go to this another PowerPoint, the Ogugu of the deity, which happens to be the daughter or to that deity. He said, go and meet this Ogugu. She went to the deity and knelt down, kept on crying, and said what she was saying. Immediately, this woman left. There is an outside installment that we call Ekwensu Mboba. Immediately, this woman left there. Like, the whole installment was really crafty. Now, Navy people, you can hardly take pictures of their PowerPoints. Every ancestral deity, not all these Irumo that most Divyas have, ancestral deities. So when the first time I came there is this Okpaka tree, because an Okpaka tree can be used as a spirit conduit. There's an Okpaka tree, and under that Okpaka there's this hole or hollow that is inside that Okpaka tree, and within it is an anthill that was growing on its own, because these things are just like natural phenomenons. It's not something that somebody created. So I'm like, how is it possible that an anthill is growing inside an Okpaka tree? So when I asked, what did they keep here? They said, Ekwensu Mboba. So immediately the woman left. That tree began to lose its seed. What I was not hearing was bam, 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 bam. Like, inanuko baka na agba. Bam, 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 bam. I was like, what is happening? I tapped my friend. I was like, what's happening? She said, see what's happening here. Then people, they were now commenting that they know the family that the woman is coming from, that what they're doing to her is not fair. Okay, now she has come here now, and this tree is reacting like this. Don't worry, anything that family sees, it's going to take. And I'm like, I was surprised. I was like, but that's the reason. Now, that deity would use the essence or the characteristics of Ekwensu to fight that particular battle for that lady. Now, maybe if I go back home, I will maybe try to know about, situation report to the family, if I can basically trace it. If I tell them the story and they remember it. Because after the whole experience, as they were about to leave, there is this thing that we call Awoma. And so the Akajefo came out, and he looked at me, and he now said, Nne, emekwerega Awoma. I said, no, I can't get Awoma. What is Awoma? He said, He said that as he was about to leave, the deity called him back, and he said, How would a woman, my daughter, come to my place and you people did not give her anything? The man now brought out like 500 naira and left it on the floor for me. Our woman is like a form of a salaka. Kept it on the floor for me and said I should take it. That this thing is a gift from that deity. I was like, thank you. Thank you. And I, tapped my companion. Oh yeah, let's go. Because it's already evening. Because we stayed basically the whole day. Because if you want to research ordinarily, you need to participate. Even if you just come and just sit down, nobody's going to tell you to leave. You get the wood. Anything they're going to eat or share that day, they're going to give you. So continue with what he said. He now said, Obonuke are negative energies or demons that spring from Ekwensu or the devil. You see this mistake. I said earlier, as Igbo people, it's as if we are always looking for something that does not exist. We have to compress it. In fact, our brain is trying to tell us, oh yeah, use this Bible passage, make it to make sense. This is what is happening here. Demons that spring from the devil. In the Bible, of course I said, quoting the Bible, Ephesians 6:10-12, they are called powers of the dark world, spiritual forces of evil. The person that wrote this Bible has no idea what negative energies are. But for some reason, an Igbo man would use the Bible to justify what negative energies are and look at them as demonic and evil forces. Okay. But in verse 10, the Bible mentioned the devil. We are getting somewhere. Negative energies are demons, and Ekwensu, the devil, is their controller. Like this is a post that literally said Ekwensu is not the devil. But you have to say that the controller of these negative energies is Ekwensu, who is the devil. How does this make sense to people? And he now went ahead to say no other analysis would change it. Well, it's a good thing that this, what Ekwensu is to Igbo people, is actually not an analogy. It's a fact. You can fact check it if you want. It's a fact. I'm not speaking out of inexperience. I'm speaking out of experience. I'm speaking out of what people actually practice, the real definition of what these practices are. So getting that out of the way, let's even look at these negative energies. I've made so many videos on negative energies, so you can actually just check it out later. So what are these negative energies? Maybe if this person sees this video, he might be able to think fast and hopefully go through and try to understand what these things are. Leave your Christian mindset. Try to understand understand that your ancestors saw these things in a certain way and interpreted it. Now, the white man does not know about your culture, doesn't even know the meaning. When I talk about negative energies, I'm talking about Orapo. If I call this white man, that maybe anybody from their lineage that wrote this Bible and said, do you know what Orapo is? This person will say no. Do you know what Uke is? This person will say no. Do you know what Akoheli is? The person will say no. But for some reason, we have to defend the ideas of people that never took the time of the day to sit down and understand why we do some certain things that we do. And basically, because we all know that the essence of Christianity in Igbo land or Igbo society is because of, the white man's incessant need to control everything around him, to be domineering, to have this kind of superiority complex. Of course, why won't they take away what makes us Igbo, which is our spirituality, and already give us something that they think is superior? And we perpetually dwell in this perception that because these people came from somewhere that is distant from our land, that what they're giving us is superior. So even if we're trying to also say, okay, now tear out from mental slavery, those kinds of ideas kind of stop when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to ordinary. You see somebody being very Afrocentric, but when you now tell the person, oh yeah, what do you think about ordinary? Oh, the person will start biting his or her tongue, because it's something that's superiority complex has eaten us deep. So let's look at what negative energies are. There are different levels of cosmic energies. Now, when I'm talking about cosmic energies, I'm talking about agents or energies that are basically malevolent. We believe that Igbo ancestral forces, Ndi Chi, Alose, Chi, Agu, are all benevolent energies. Now, on their own, these energies might not necessarily try to be malignant on an individual. So what they would do is to use these negative energies. Now, what are they? We look at them as, we call them oraku. I'm also going to talk about the sources where you can get it from. Look at oraku. We'll now look at ocho. We'll now look at uke. We'll now look at akoheli. We'll also now look at obonuke. There are 5. There could be more, but this is the ones that I know. So how do the Igbo people, how do we even say it? Apart from the definition, I've just listed, the energies. But what are they? How do we interpret it? So the first one is that we look at these negative energies as agents or forces that our ancestral or cosmic forces use to punish an individual. Now, there are some certain things that you would do. You would probably desecrate an ancestral altar. You would destroy an ancestral altar. Now, your Ndichie, the ancestral family or the energy in charge of what you destroy, would use these energies to fight against you, to basically punish you, to keep you in a situation that would make you to revert and know that you committed or you did something that you shouldn't do and seek for a redress. So they use them as agents. So this energy, they are neither good nor bad. They just exist. Like, that's most of Igbo energies. They are not good. Like, they are not good or bad. Now, you have to understand that in as much as we live in a binary world, when we are trying to put things in a context, we also know that there are positive, negative, and there is an in-between, which is a neutral point, a point of neutrality where everything comes together, or I can even say where everything starts. Now, this point of neutrality is independent of any human factor. Now, at this point, you can look at it as maybe when your ancestors were instituting a concept. So, after your ancestors instituted a deity, analysis, or whatever PowerPoint, it will tilt towards a positive aspect. It will perform its function. If the function is for procreation, like Aqualium, it would give you that. If it's for progress, Aqualium also, it will give you that. Whatever the deity or alose was instituted for is something positive, because the intention towards that institution is an honest intention. Now, this is one aspect of it. Now, if that PowerPoint was instituted through the means of a human sacrifice, a forceful means of human sacrifice, it becomes a problem. That's where we now have issues of Okunwada. You would have to check the video I made on Okunwada to understand what it meant and how this Okunwada would cause problems, where it's coming from, and the next thing to do to basically appease the essence of that Nwada that your family have basically wronged. So when those deities are now functioning for your ancestors, it's positive, it's something good. Now your ancestors are gone, handed the whole thing over to you, and because you have a change of mind, you decide to desecrate that place without even trying to understand the first reason why that PowerPoint was instituted in the first place. So when you destroy and desecrate it, its function or characteristics will change from being positive to negative. It will start fighting you, and it could use all these energies. If it's coming in form of an akoheli, it's trying to basically make you a useless person. If every morning you're hustling, every morning you're out there, you're trying to be a man, you're trying to be a woman, you're trying to create job for yourself, you're working tirelessly, and at the end of the day, some kind of something that you don't even expect will sweep it all away. The same thing with Ochu. Now, when it's coming from an ancestral point of view, we call it more Ewa Mado Ochu. your ancestral spirit or your forces, Igbago is a form of, let me say, them turning their backs on you. So this is what's happening here. Now, another interpretation of this negative energy is the one that somebody brought on his or herself through the kind of behavior or personality that this person has. What am I trying to say? This person could get this kind of energy from sexual intimacy, sexual energy, especially men or women that patronize escorts. So when you're engaging with these escorts, you don't know the energy that individual is carrying, because if it's a man or if it's a woman, the person is sleeping with different people and taking on a part of that energy on themselves. It could be because of womanizing. It could be because of promiscuity, even drunkenness. Because places like clubs, places like bars, they are energy dense. And you don't know the kind of energy that you're attracting from these kinds of places. So the kind of lifestyle you're living can determine if you will be afflicted by a negative energy. Now the energy you can get there is orahu or bonuke, something you get out of a group or because of a group or something you belong to. But another, obonuke also have another interpretation. I'm going to get to that point. So the kind of lifestyle you're living probably because you raped a person, you broke a woman's heart, or if a woman you embezzled or you took a man's money when you know you don't have any intention of marrying the person. So this kind, because of the behaviors the kind of life you're living, you can carry or attract this energy to yourself. Now, because of an abomination, homosexuality, incest, murder, suicide, you can attract this energy to yourself. Now, once you attract this energy to yourself, the energy is fighting you. It's going to destroy everything you're doing. It will not allow you to progress. So these spiritual forces are using it to react. Now, most times, everybody, because they'll tell you every problem has its solution. So what are the solutions here? We'll now look at probably restorative rituals or cleansing rituals. Restorative could mean ike obonuke, ike akohili, to tie these energies. But if you don't address the root cause of these energies, they'll continue to fight you. Now, the root cause could be if you don't change your behavior, the way you live, the way you interact, if you don't stop your promiscuous life, if you don't stop womanizing, if you don't stop drunkenness, if you don't stop committing these abominations, even if you perform restorative rituals, those things will continue to happen. Just like a person now, you're trying to save money, but you have terrible saving habits. You don't budget. How then can you save money? You'd first of all learn how to save money. Once you learn how to save money, you can now from there now know how to budget and now save better. So you have to address the root cause of this energy. Now, if the root cause of this energy is because of something that you desecrated, these rituals would not save you except you fix those things that were destroyed or desecrated or appease them. If not, this energy will keep recurring in your life. Now, obonuke is a special kind of energy. I made mention that obonuke can be gotten from your peers, your physical peers, but the root word there is peers. Now, peers, we look at them as ndotu. They have your age grade, the ones you're like your age mate, your friends that you met in school or wherever. Now we have your spiritual ndotu, your spiritual age grade. We look at them as ifesogi webio, apart from your chi algo or alosi and all those things. But this ndotu, they came to this world with you, and at this point of reincarnation, all of you had an agreement. We're coming to this world to live life in a certain way. We're going to do this in a certain way. So whenever you decide not to do what you guys have agreed to do, it becomes a problem. Some people will say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to die in a certain time. Because if you're taking these oaths, according to my mentor, he will say we don't know what we're actually talking about, because we don't know how sweet or how good life is going to be for us. So some of these Ndotu spirits now, some of them would come to life after giving birth to them. They're looking at like, okay, no, I cannot stay in this family. They will die immediately. We call it they will die. Now once that person dies and is looking at you from this spiritual world you're still living, and you guys had an agreement, maybe your own agreement was, I'm not going to live up to a certain age and I will die as well. And you guys had this agreement with that person that came into the world, saw that this family, no, I cannot survive here, I don't want to do this, and just died immediately. The spirit will become jealous. Now, another part of your ndotu could be somebody that was maltreated, that was killed. Maybe probably the person was not buried. The person, all those things. Then because they're not looking at you, you're living your life. Why should we leave this person to live their life? We had this agreement. So because of that agreement, they would now want you to join them. So this is where this energy is coming from. Obonuke. Now they will start to fight you, start to be malignant. Now how do we address it? We perform the rites of Ike Obonuke or Ikwaja Obonuke. So most of the items that many people will see, because I see people doing these things, they will see people performing a ritual or sacrifice. They'll be like, we go, people that are trying to kill somebody, people that don't know God. Because I one day was performing this salaka for children and my unborn children, funny enough. So as I was performing the rites now, performing the salaka stuff, and I was supposed to drop it in a road very close to my house. So people were just passing and they were giving me this eye. My friend, my companion was like, they look at you. I said, I don't care, I don't send. So eventually they're looking at me and all, but I don't care. You can look at me, or if you like what I'm doing, come and join me. So at the end of the day, when you're performing, so we have items that people look at and they think that these people are performing rituals or sacrifices that are supposed to fight somebody. Like you see it's a small tiny coffin. You will see a dark cloth that we used to like cover it. You will now see some items, dead items, then some herbs or leaves or weed, whatever. Then you will now see some very dead animal plus offer that will be offer that will be attached to the aja. And they will now tell you, take it out to this energy point, Irobara 4, Irobara Ato Ano, depending on the Libya and the spirit. So when you're performing these rituals or sacrifice, what you're actually doing here is we're trying to say, okay, I know that we made a promise, no problems, but please just endure for me, wait for me a little longer. Take these things as a replacement for my life and allow me to live. This is a restorative ritual. You're trying to restore your life. You're trying to restore yourself when you perform this sacrifice or these rituals. Now, when you're trying to get rid of an outro energy, we call it cleansing, because we call it a water, to cleanse something, to clean up something. So you see where all those things are coming from and the remedies that are attached to each of those rituals and rites. So with all these interpretations that I've just given, where is the phenomenon of Ekwensu coming in? Because I've not even seen Ekwensu coming into this equation, except your problem or your issue you're having is coming from Ekwensu directly. Now they will tell you these other energies or entities or spirits are devilish energy that are coming from Ekwensu. They don't have any business with Ekwensu. I've gone to the water to perform so many rituals, and I've gone there and there is nothing like Ekwensu there. So this is the Igbo interpretation. Now I'm not going to start trying to make it make sense to a person that still believes that these energies are coming from the devil. Whereas the people that are practicing it are telling you that Ekwensu that they are calling the devil is a different thing, and it performs a different function for them. They approach it differently from all these other things. Now, who are you supposed to believe? People that came and never understood what your ancestors were practicing, but they decided to basically compress it and make it make sense to them because they are looking for an equivalent. Because for you to explain something to a people, you need to make it make sense. Now we're talking about Ubinu Babi, Chuku, linking it to Aro Chuku, which is a problem because it's not Ubinu Babi, it's a deity on its own, it's not Chuku. And they will tell you Iru Chuku then Aro Chuku. It's nonsense. These are propaganda. Now because they are trying to tell you, okay, now there's a deity Chuku, it stays in Arochukwu. Our people knew God, they understood what God was, but they did not understand it from the aspect of Ubino Babi in Arochukwu. They understood it as an aggregate of all cheese, your chi, my chi, our collective cheese, making up the chi that they interact with. Okike Kelefe. This is how we refer the concept of God. Now they have to create this binary relationship, which comes from, okay, there is a God in Ubinu, in Arochukwu. There has to be an entity that is fighting against the goodness of the deity in Ubinu Babi, and they now brought Ekwensu because the violence, the nature of Ekwensu is something that they can easily tell people. Just like you come to my community and you tell my community that they don't know is a Ekwensu, they will look at you. Maybe in those days, Edo is regarded as a very kind-hearted deity that made Nnewi what Nnewi is today. So you cannot come to tell them that Edo is not even violent. Edo is not even a deity that can kill. But if Edo has to kill you, you would have to know what you did to her. And if she has to kill you, it's not something she would do. She will send her Udo, or she will send her Ekwensu to do it for her. So you cannot come and tell Nnewi people that Edo is Ekwensu. They will not believe. You have to find something that is violent. And that's where Ekwensu comes in. And they will now use Ekwensu to basically tell us that every other thing that we're doing is part of Ekwensu. But in reality, fact check it if you want. Ekwensu is something different. And these negative energies, they don't have any business with Ekwensu. They only exist because of either what you did, they're trying to punish you for it, or because of spirits that you desecrated, spirits that you did not acknowledge, and your Obonuke entities that are jealous of you because of the kind of life you're living, or because of the life that you have, which they themselves don't have. So these are the various interpretations of what Obonuke, negative energies, are. So if you look at it, you can do your own further research, and if you got value from my rants from this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, Yagazia.